What's going on, people? Welcome to Assetto Corsa. I'm going to start off this video by saying that this particular game is not like Forza. Probably most similar to Project Cars if you've played that before. It is a brand new game out on console. It was not meant for console, it was meant for PC. There's a small team of 30 people that developed this game and ported it over. It is their first port to console, so it is pretty rough. The control settings right now are probably the worst part of this game, but I'm here to clarify some things, show you that you can actually drive with the controller. I'm going to show you my settings after some tinkering and after joining the forums to take a look at some other guys' settings. I've come up with my own that drive very well. So I'm going to explain each setting in the controller and then demo on several different cars to show you that it is possible to drive with the controller until they sort out the controller problems with the update coming in September. I have the T80 wheel, and right now you cannot use it as a wheel. You have to configure it in gamepad mode, and even then it is very difficult to drive with the wheel. So I'm using the controller now, so let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do is take you over to the options menu. You'll see that I'm using the controller. I have it on preset 1, just what I prefer, and let's go over to advanced. Now, vibration intensity is pretty straightforward. Controls the vibration that you have on the controller itself, and that's pretty standard. I have it set to 80. Speed sensitivity. If you raise this to 100, the steering on the car is extremely twitchy, no matter how fast you are going. It is the sensitivity of the stick movement. So I have this set at 25. Steering speed. I have this set all the way up to 100. You're probably asking, why is it making the car too twitchy? No, it's actually not. With the steering speed at 100 and the speed sensitivity at 25, the car is very controllable. Gives you enough control and enough fluidity that the car moves around the track pretty nice. Steering dead zone. If you have dead zones in your sticks, set this accordingly. I have mine to 0 because my sticks are in perfect working condition. Steering filter. This is the filter that controls what you do on the controller in relation to the game. If you have this set to 100 and you move the stick, the car will not move at all when you steer it. I have it set to 0, so I want direct feedback from what I do on the controller into the game. I don't want any latency. Steering gamma is another form of steering dead zone. If you have this set to 100, it's going to take you longer to turn the car in relation to how far you move the stick. If you have it set to 100, which is the least you can put it on, the slightest touch on the stick will turn the wheel. So I have it set to a 150, which is a pretty good compromise. I will show you that on the video settings. I have it set to field view at 60 and color filter at default. I tried it in sport, didn't really like it too much. And expanded is alright, but default seems to work. And I'm playing on the 4K TV. This game does not upscale, so you're playing in 1080p. They have a pretty nice Vizio 4K television, just want to throw that in there. But I will be upgrading soon to the Sony 800D TV, which offers the HDR with 4K resolution because of the PlayStation Pro and the update that's coming out to give us HDR access. So, with all that being said, let's get into driving the car. I'm going to start off a hot lap. I tested all these cars on the Nürburgring Sprint. So I will start off with a faster vehicle so you can see exactly what I'm referring to. So let's go over to, I will show you on a Formula 1 car. Let's change the livery, I don't like that one, so I'll go to Scheme 4. And notice that I drive with a manual gearbox. I also don't use a racing line. Everything's set to factory as the car is meant to be driven. I do stability control off and mechanical damage on 100%. Tire wear 100. Tire blankets means that your tires are already warmed up as the race starts. And I have fuel consumption on. I don't use any custom setup while I'm doing these videos, just because I want to show you that out the box the car can drive. Now, this game is not like Forza. You can't jump in it and say I'm going to take a turn at 150 miles an hour and the car's going to drift around the track. It doesn't work that way. This is a simulator, so the cars drive as close to real life as possible. and you will see what I'm talking about. So just so you can see, I'm not running any save setup on this. So let's get into the drive. Now again, I'm not touching the stick at all. I am moving the sticks just ever so slightly to the right. This is about a quarter, this is half, and this is full rotation. There is no image to show you how far you're pushing down the gas and how far you're pushing down the brake. Formula car, I noticed that if you push the brake too hard, the wheels will lock and you'll slide. So you have to be very gentle with this car, downshift to slow down before you can actually hit the brake. As you can see, I did right there. By far not the best driver. I'm gonna just put that out there right now. I am very good, but I'm not the best. I'm used to playing racing simulators back in Gran Turismo days, to Forza days, to Project Cars. I played with both the controller and the wheel, so I'm familiar with how the car is supposed to handle and how to take turns properly, and so on and so forth. So that's one thing. If you're new to this particular game, you're gonna have to get used to. You have to teach yourself how to drive all over again, pretty much. This game is very unforgiving when it comes to messing up. So, if you push the car too much, you will crash the car, bottom line. Push the car beyond its limit, and it's not going to be a fun day. So, that was this particular car. So, now you're probably saying that's a Formula 1 car, they usually handle pretty good out the box anyway, you know, not that hard to control, right? So, let's take you to the Mclaren. I will do the Mp4 12C GT3, and this car out the gate is pretty good. You can drive it pretty hard, and it'll stay on the track, but again, you push it beyond the limit, and you will spin out or go into the gravel and crash against a barrier. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off going pretty hard. I'm not going to do a warm-up lap, as opposed you don't have to because the tires are already hot. So I'll take you, try to push the car a little bit. Hopefully I don't lose control and crash it. So, setup, again, not running any save setups. Notice again. And notice very quick, do not drive this car like you drive the Formula 1. It's easy to break late. That's just my personal driving style. So you drive however you feel most comfortable. I would say to start off with, probably you're going to want to go slow, learn the track. You know, you can use the braking line to learn the track. I found that driving without it is more helpful because you learn yourself where the car can be pushed and where the braking limit actually is. Sometimes the game doesn't get it exactly right, and you brake too late, you brake too early, and you end up shaving seconds off your time. So learn the track on your own is probably the best way to do it. And look at that, I beat my ghost. Yeah, not bad. So I'll just show you what the replay looks like real quick so you can actually see the car in motion as I'm driving. To show that, you know, the car is driving around the track very smooth. It's not twitchy as Project Cars was when you play with the controller for the first time. The slightest movement in the car was all over the damn place. They pretty much got it dialed in. There's an update coming out in September this month to fine-tune the controller settings and fix the issue with the T80 wheel. That's the other graphical frame rate issues. Although I don't really see that big of a frame rate issue in the game. You know, it does happen. As you can see, some screen tearing in the replay. But that's all going to be fixed. Again, it's 30 people that never done a console port before. So I think for their first port on a game of this caliber, I think they did an awesome job. Is it up to Project Cars standards with the cars and the tracks? No. But is it up to Project Cars standards the way the car handles? Yes. The physics in this game are second to none. So you will not find a better physics engine for the way the car handles on console right now. And that speaks volumes for a team of 30 people. I don't promote them, not part of their team. You know, I bought the games like everybody else. But, you know, you have to respect the game and the hard work that they put into making it playable for us and not just a PC crowd. So I'll switch camera views here so you can see flame shooting out the back. Very authentic. Replay cameras are pretty nice. Although I would like a close-up camera of the wheels like Forza has. That'd be kind of great. I always like that view, so you can see what the tires are doing. But yeah, that's the McLaren. I'm driving it pretty hard. I'm not driving it as hard as you can, obviously. But this is to show you that the game is played with the controller and you and the GT3 car. So, again, GT3 cars handle pretty good out the gate anyway, because they're set up to drive like a race car. They are race cars. So let's try something that's production. Let's go to BMW. BMW can be pretty difficult to drive. These cars handle very nice, but for instance, the one they give you in the career mode is this one, the Bmw Z4. This car is quite a handful. You try to drive this car like you drive the McLaren or the Formula car, yeah, not gonna happen. This car is a production vehicle. It's set up as a production vehicle, so it's gonna handle like a production vehicle. You can't take a Z4 come around a racetrack in real life the way you would in a video game. So Kunos reproduced that effect to a T, actually. So this car by default has traction control on, and I'll leave it that way because that's how it's meant to be driven. And let's get into it. Notice off the bat, the car handles totally different. The weight distribution of this car, it dips when you brake. It wants to roll when you take a turn too fast. Again, it is possible to drive the car. You just have to be a little bit more gentle. Now notice here, one big thing I want people to pay attention to is when you lose the car and it begins to spin, you can correct it. In Project Cars with the controller, this is pretty much impossible. You have to feel. You're using a T80 non-force feedback wheel without full rotation. Trying to correct the car once it gets into a spin is, not possible. This game is totally restored. So that part I like because sometimes you do push it a little bit too much and you need to correct. And when you do, you don't have to worry about the car completely fishtailing and spinning out of control. Sorry about about that. My video cut off there. And as that happens, you can clearly see that I broke the plate and I hit the wall. So again, it does happen. And now my hood is messed up. So I'll finish the lap and then go to the replay so you guys can actually see that the weight distribution of the vehicle as you're driving around the track. So let's go to the replay and take a look. Notice the car sits pretty high off the ground. You cannot lower it in the settings, it's not available. You can't add performance parts to make it do that either. So you're driving the car as it's meant to be driven, pretty authentic. Notice the dip when I hit the brake. Notice how the car is rolling around the track, the weight distributing to the left side. That makes the car handle more realistic than it does in pretty much any other racing game. So, keep that in mind when you're driving this game or playing the game the first time. If you're picking it up expecting an experience like Forza, you're going to be disappointed because it doesn't handle that way. It's meant for hardcore racing fans. Even if you're not a hardcore racing fan, get into the game. It'll teach you how to drive in Forza better. It'll make you faster in other racing titles because you are now learning the discipline the proper way, in my opinion. And again, you'll notice the car wants to swing out, a little harder to control. So let's take it to something that's not a production vehicle, or that is, but made to drive fast. And the best example you can have for that would be, let's go to Ferrari. I'm going to do plenty of videos on the Ferrari FXX. Some people are driving it with the controller. I saw one review, somebody was driving with the controller and they said it was impossible to drive. So let's prove that theory wrong. It is not impossible to drive this car with the controller. I am going to prove that to you right now. I am going to drive it pretty good and try not to spin out. Again, this car's factory setting has traction control on. You can turn it off. If you do turn it off and you want to drift, hey, by all means, go ahead and do that. It will be a monster to control, and traction control kicks in a lot because this car has an immense amount of power. So again, I'm not running any custom setup here. So let's take a first step. See other videos of people driving with the controller in this car all over the damn track. And I don't know if they were doing it on purpose or they were, just doing a genuine review of how the car handles, but yeah. To drive the car with the controller. Same as you drive GT3 cars, you just have to be a little bit more gentle. Perfect example of a production vehicle that's meant to drive hard and meant to drive like a race car, but it's not a full-fledged race car. I'll show you what it looks like here when you're driving at full replay. This car is beautifully rendered and sounds absolutely amazing. I'll stay quiet for the remainder of this particular part of the video, just so you can hear the vehicle, and you can see that the car is driving around the track pretty smooth. And again, I'm not the best driver, but I think I'm doing pretty good. There you have it. That car again drives good with the controller. I'm going to show you another car that is infamous in the racing community for being extremely hard to handle, and that would be the Lotuses. One in particular is the classic Lotus cars. This car is an absolute monster. It's actually going to be a first for me because I didn't test this car out when I originally set up the controller, so forgive me if the car spins out, because this car has a ton of power. And again, I'm driving it with factory settings, so this car probably does not have traction control on. Again, no setups, running full stock. Doesn't take good. Once that turbo kicks in, this wants to spin. You gotta be gentle on the throttle. Show you a replay of the car just so you can appreciate the awesomeness. Again, no traction control on this vehicle. This is showing you that you can drive a car even without traction control. A car this monstrous, where it starts off slow and the turbo kicks in, the car turns into a freaking rocket ship. You can do it. You just have to learn how to control the throttle. That's all it's about. Again, changing your driving discipline in a game that truly is a simulator for console. I use this car in Forza, I've used it in Project Cars, and I can tell you by far this is the best handling model of those two games. In Forza, the ass end of this car just wants to kick out no matter what you do. Project Cars is a little bit more tameable. In this particular game, as you can see right there, I spun it out. Got a little too hard on the throttle. Again, I did it twice. So you live, you learn, and you try out again. And yeah, the car is drivable. So, with that being said, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys liked it. If you do, like, subscribe, share it. I'm going to try to post this video with the full discussion on the Assetto Corsa forum. So take a look at that. And if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm always available to answer questions, even when I'm at work. So, enjoy. Later.